You've handed over thousands for awakening packages, placed blind faith in charismatic voices, and wondered why your heart still aches. What if I told you the purity you seek is being sold as the perfect con? These predators don't wear horns, they wear robes, speak Sanskrit, and promise heaven. This isn't self help fluff. This is a hunt for the wolves in monk's clothing, and once you see their fangs, you can't unsee them. True teachers stand humbly in the ruins they help build. Scammers erect shining stages to capture your awe, the flood of flattery. From day one, you're special, chosen, destined. This isn't encouragement, it's the bait that hooks you emotionally, dissolving any critical edge. The exotic persona, they package themselves with foreign accents, cryptic lineage stories, and exotic ceremonies. Each detail screams authentic, but authenticity is the costume, not the credential. Miracle shock tactics, sudden healings, prophetic visions, bleached white auras in promotional videos. These stage spectacles aren't proof, they're pay per view illusions designed to dazzle and distract. Isolation rituals, retreats in remote sanctuaries, secret gatherings off the grid. Removed from friends and facts, you become a captive audience, ripe for exploitation. They don't just teach, they perform, and you, hungry for truth, become your own audience in their circus of deceit. They don't start by stealing your wallet, they steal your conviction. Your faith is the coin that fuels their con. Deposits of devotion. Every tearful testimonial and henna stained wristband cements a deposit in their spiritual bank. Your desperate longing to believe becomes their passive income stream. Urgency of salvation. Act now or miss your blessing. By concocting faux deadlines, anniversary initiations, rare astrological windows, they hijack your impulse for instant transcendence. Exclusive access passes. The more you trust, the more levels they unlock. VIP circles, secret teachings, one on one transmissions. Each tier draws more devotion, more dollars, more dependence. Debt of devotion. Once you've invested your belief, walking away feels like betrayal, guilt, shame, fear of karmic backlash. These invisible chains keep you tethered long after the checks clear. They don't need your money, they need you to believe in them. Doubt is their kryptonite. These predators speak your language, using your own hopes as their bait. Here's how their script unfolds, step by step. The grand opening, a free blessing webinar or live event to lure you in. No cost, no risk, just enough glamour and buzzwords to make you think you've stumbled on something sacred. The hidden upsell mid presentation, they pivot. For true transformation, upgrade now. Suddenly, that free gift demands payment. You've already invested attention, and that compels you to invest cash. The guilt trip gambit, they invoke karmic consequences. If you don't act, you're turning your back on your soul. Your fear of spiritual failure becomes the cudgel they wield to crack open your wallet. The illusion of exclusivity, only 10 spots left. This portal closes at midnight. These fake scarcity tactics trigger panic buying. It's not enlightenment you're after, it's relief from missing out. The vanishing act. After you pay, the Grandmaster disappears. Messages go unanswered. Advanced modules never unlock, and the community chat dies. You're left clutching empty promises and a lighter bank account. Once you recognize the blueprint of their con, you see every urgent offer for the shallow sales pitch it really is. Miracles sell, but manufactured marvels are weapons of mass deception. Staged healings actors planted in the front row, hand-picked to sob convincingly when energy touches them. These tears are the Trojan horse, smuggled emotions that carry your trust inside the fortress. Prophetic promises, vague predictions of wealth, health, or romance if you follow their secret method. When nothing materializes, they simply blame your lack of faith. Aura reading charades. They see your chakras, diagnose your blockages, all with no training other than cheesy colored lights and a script. Yet you leave feeling validated, hooked on the illusion of insight. Tech enhanced trickery, subliminal hypnosis tracks, binaural healing beats, AI generated angel voices. When spiritual tech promises transcendence, remember, the real programming is in your mind, not the machine. Every miracle they dangle is a mirror reflecting only what they want you to believe, never the truth of your own power. These charlatans bind you with invisible terms, agreements forged in fear and flattery, signed in silence. Unseen fine print. You think you're joining a meditation group. You're actually signing away your autonomy. Hidden clauses in glossy enrollment forms pledge you to endless initiations and retreat obligations. Emotional blackmail clauses. If you leave now, you'll regret it for lifetimes. This phantom penalty haunts you. Guilt and imagined karmic debt keep you chained long after reason screams, run. Lifetime loyalty promises. They coax you into vows, spoken or unspoken, to remain faithful. Each "I promise" strengthens their leash, rendering your exit impossible without shaming yourself. The debt of gratitude trap. Every gift they bestow, a blessing, a mantra, a personal word, becomes a spiritual IOU you tirelessly repay with money, time, and obedience. These shadow contracts are the real currency of their con, binding you where no court of law can reach. Even after the veil lifts, many stay hypnotized. Understanding why is the first step to reclaiming your power. The fear of excommunication. Dare to question, and they brand you a heretic. The terror of banishment from the spiritual family overrides even your sense of self respect. Identity entanglement. You've woven their teachings into your very being. To abandon them feels like abandoning yourself, a terrifying rupture of identity. Peer pressured piety, fellow seekers police one another. Whispers, glances, veiled warnings create a prison of polite conformity. No one dares step out of line. The Stockholm Syndrome of faith. After prolonged emotional captivity, you develop affection for your captors. Loyalty becomes a twisted love, convincing you to defend the scam even against your better judgment. Compliance isn't weakness, it's the echo of every tactic they use to seduce, isolate, and ensnare you. Write your questions in the comments. You give me a like and a follow. I'll give you an answer. In the hallowed halls of their make believe temple, every whisper of skepticism is met with swift eradication. Welcome to the echo chamber where only their voice exists. Sanitized sermons. Critical questions are edited out of recordings, dissent deleted from group chats, and inconvenient texts lost in translation. You hear only the rehearsed message, never the cracks. Public shaming rituals. When a brave soul raises a concern, they're called negative, ungrateful, or possessed. The spectacle of shaming sends a clear message: speak truth, and you'll be sacrificed on the altar of conformity. Algorithms of obedience. Private forums hide critical threads, while praise floods the front pages. The digital architecture itself conspires to bury dissent and amplify only testimonials that feed the lie. Manufactured consensus. They solicit staged group feedback, then broadcast the curated praise as proof of universal awakening. You're pressured to join the ovation or risk being drowned out entirely. In an echo chamber, the walls aren't made of sound, they're built from fear. Once doubt is exiled, The only direction left is deeper into the rabbit hole. All frauds eventually collapse under their own weight. Here's the brutal anatomy of their downfall, often closer than you think. The debt that suffocates as promises go unfulfilled. The mounting guilt and financial burden become intolerable. Members start vanishing, then regroup to share horror stories, spreading the poison back into the community. The gurus slip a leaked video, an offhand confession, or a journalist's expose cracks the illusion wide open. Suddenly, their carefully crafted persona fractures, and every past miracle is rescored as a staged trick. Internal betrayals, disgruntled insiders, ex helpers, board members, even favored students turn whistleblowers with access to private records. They expose the shadow contracts and profit margins hidden from view. The collective awakening. Once the first domino falls, doubt spreads like wildfire. Former devotees form support networks, reclaim their power, and the scam's infrastructure collapses in a spectacular, gratifying implosion. Their empire of lies detonates from the inside out. Your freedom often begins with the first crack in their false foundation. Escaping the web of deceit is only half the battle. True survivors reclaim their power by dismantling every trace of manipulation and rising from the ashes stronger than before. Owning your story. Survivors refuse the victim label. They retell their experience, not as trauma porn, but as a manifesto of reclaiming agency. Each retelling chips away at the scam's hold over their identity, cultivating inner authority. No more outsourcing intuition to masters. They learn to trust gut instinct over slick promises, to honor their doubt as the ultimate compass, and to define spirituality on their own terms. Building independent communities. Instead of echo chambers, they form networks based on radical honesty, spaces where questions outnumber answers, and no one is crowned guru. Here, sovereignty is shared, not sold, transforming betrayal into fuel. The sting of deception becomes the crucible for fierce clarity. Survivors wield their pain as insight, forging a sharpened perception that pierces any future illusions at first glance. Reclamation isn't gentle, it's a spiritual uprising from within, an insurgent roar that no scam can ever silence. Your wounds are the raw material for unstoppable wisdom. But beware, the deepest insight arrives only when you embrace the scars, not bury them. Scars as scrolls. Every betrayal etches a line in your inner text. Read those scars not as shame, but as sacred script, mapping the false paths so you never wander them again. Pain as calibration. Let your emotional alarm bells guide you. When a teaching rings hollow or a promise glitters too brightly, your hard earned sensitivity warns you this is another con in disguise. Insight beyond instruction. The greatest lessons aren't taught, they're gnawed from experience. Your unfiltered encounters with deception become the unspoken curriculum no guru can replicate. The fury of clarity channel, the fire of outrage into luminous perception. Let your anger at the con artist's betrayal fuel a relentless discernment that pierces every mask, yours included. This is your reckoning. Embrace every scar, harness every tremor, and let your pain become the unstoppable engine of true spiritual insight. Surviving the fraud may harden you, but genuine faith is forged when cynicism itself becomes the tinder for a truer flame. Ashes of disillusionment. Let your broken trust smolder before you. Only when you've stared into the charred remains of false prophets can you spot the faint glow of authentic wisdom, selective rebirth. Don't leap blindly into the next guru's arms. Instead, cultivate a fierce discernment. Test teachings against your deepest integrity, watching which embers truly warm your soul. Rekindle with skeptical devotion. Approach fresh practices with both open heart and raised eyebrow. Faith isn't blind, it's a calculated risk you choose again and again, lit by the lessons of past burns. The ritual of recommitment. Regularly renew your vow to seek truth, not comfort. In ceremonies you design yourself, using words, silence, or simple gestures. Offer your loyalty to awareness alone. True faith isn't the absence of doubt. It's the courage to tend the flame in the face of every gust that once blew it out. This is the crucible question. After tasting betrayal, can you lean once more into the unknown? And what must you sacrifice to believe again? Abandon the safety net, forgo every guarantee, no refund policies, no service level assurances. Step into teachings that provide no promises except the raw invitation to wake up. Offer sacred vulnerability. Share your trauma atop a cliff of openness. Let others see your wounds whole, not dressed in piety or rationalization. In that exposure, you reclaim the power others stole. Risk the surrender. Surrender not to someone else's system, but to the ineffable field of presence. Let go of control, even over your skepticism, and leap, knowing you might fall, but that free fall itself is the ultimate practice. Swear by no one but truth. Make a pact to never worship a person, process, or platform again. Direct your allegiance to unmediated reality. If any teaching demands more, abandon it without regret. Trust is the final frontier. Only those brave enough to risk their hearts again will discover the untold depths of true awakening. Survivors of the con don't bequeath dogma, they hand down discernment. The real legacy you carry forward is the question, not the answer. Wisdom as weapon. Teach others how to question every promise, every face in a robe. Share stories of deception as cautionary tales, not martyr narratives. So each listener learns to arm themselves with skepticism. No pedestals, only mirrors. Inheriting insight means holding up a mirror, not erecting an altar. Model transparency, admit your own missteps, and invite others to reflect, not to venerate what they see. Rituals of resistance. Instead of ceremonies that bind you to a guru, forge gatherings where doubt is honored and blind faith is forbidden. Make the act of questioning the only sacred right. Passing the torch of autonomy. Your heirloom isn't a mantra or lineage. It's the conviction that no one can own your soul. Ignite in others the refusal to cede their inner authority to any charismatic stranger. The greatest inheritance you give is not belief handed down, but the fierce courage to believe only in your own awake heart. This is the final provocation. Let your liberation become contagious. Fan the unbreakable spark of discernment until it lights a revolution of true seekers. Be the light that questions. Shine not with answers, but with the relentless glow of inquiry that never dims, never settles for comfortable narratives. Dare to disrupt. Wherever you encounter polished promises, let your presence crack the veneer. Speak the unspoken question: who's profiting from this? And watch illusions fracture. Live the unconquerable flame. Carry an inner fire that no con artist can extinguish. Let your soul's insistence on authenticity burn through every facade, every guru mask, every contract of deceit. Spark the collective awakening. Pass this flame indiscriminately to skeptic and seeker alike, so that every mind it touches becomes a beacon of unyielding truth. Your unbreakable spark isn't for hoarding, it's the wildfire of real freedom that no scam can ever contain.